In today's world, strength is often mistaken for aggression. We're told that to be a man is to dominate, to respond quickly, to always be in control of others. But Leo Tolstoy offers a quieter truth. The true strength of a man is calmness. This kind of strength doesn't shout. It doesn't seek attention. It's the ability to stay grounded when others lose their footing. It's the power to observe rather than react, to pause instead of explode. Calmness is not weakness. It's not surrender. It's a discipline, a form of self-mastery that requires more effort than any outburst ever could. In a world that rewards noise, the calm man is rare, but he is the one others follow when things fall apart. Too many men today are trapped in performance, trying to prove their worth through status, speed, or strength. But the man who stays calm in conflict, he's the one who truly holds power, not over others, but over himself. This series is about that power, about the 12 ways calmness defines real masculinity. And along the way, we'll explore how the Stoics like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca taught that the highest form of power is inner peace. Because in the end, anyone can raise their voice. But it takes a truly strong man to stay still and speak with clarity. Let's begin. We're used to thinking that people who don't fight back are somehow weak. That if someone doesn't lash out, interrupt, or retaliate, they're losing. But what if it's the opposite? What if the most intelligent people are often the calmest? The illusion of noise signals strength. There's a dangerous myth in modern culture that reaction equals power. That if you speak louder, you must be smarter. That anger proves conviction. That confrontation proves courage. But in truth, people who cannot stay calm in difficult moments are often not strong. They're simply overwhelmed. Their nervous systems are hijacked. Their focus narrows. Their judgment dissolves. When you're angry, your brain floods with cortisol and adrenaline. You literally lose access to the part of your mind that handles reasoning, empathy, long-term thinking. You become faster, yes, but also dumber. By contrast, calmness is what allows you to think clearly, to respond with strategy, not just emotion, to see beyond the immediate insult and ask, what's really going on here? The calm mind sees more. Think of a chess grandmaster. They don't react to every move on the board. They see the whole pattern. The same is true in life. A calm mind isn't slow, it's observant. It watches without flinching. It collects more data. It reads body language, hears tone, notices what others miss. And because of that, the calm person is often 3 steps ahead. Imagine 2 people in a negotiation. One is triggered defensive reactive. The other is composed. Who has the advantage? The answer is obvious. Calmness is a form of tactical intelligence. Calm people are not afraid of complexity. Emotional reactivity often stems from mental laziness. It's easier to label people than understand them. It's easier to shout than to ask a thoughtful question. It's easier to blame than to seek root causes. Calm people, they're willing to hold discomfort without exploding. They're patient enough to examine the full picture. This is not an accident, it's training. They've learned to hold their ego in check, to stay curious rather than combative, to ask, what else could be true here? And that habit of reflection over reaction, that's intelligence in action. But isn't it weak to stay silent? Many people mistake calmness for inaction. But stillness is not the same as apathy, and silence is not surrender. The calm man chooses when to speak, not because he is afraid, but because he is strategic. He knows that his words carry more weight when they are rare and rooted in clarity. This is the man who doesn't interrupt meetings, but when he finally speaks, everyone listens. This is the father who doesn't yell at his child, but when he locks eyes and says, "That disappointed me," the message lands. This is the leader who doesn't panic during chaos, but quietly makes a decision that saves the whole team. Calmness isn't about absence of emotion, it's about presence of wisdom. In business relationships, leadership, emotional intelligence is becoming the highest currency. And it starts with regulation, with the ability to pause, with the ability to ask, what does this situation truly need right now? The calm man isn't above emotion, he just refuses to be ruled by it. And in that refusal, he becomes more effective, more trusted, more respected. He becomes not just intelligent on paper, but intelligent in action. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Epictetus. To the Stoics, calmness was not a sign of retreat, it was a sign of freedom. When you are calm, you are free from the control of others, free from the tyranny of reaction, free from being dragged around by every insult, inconvenience, or discomfort. Marcus Aurelius once wrote that a man should be like the rock that the waves keep crashing over. It stands unmoved, and the raging of the sea falls still around it. This is what the calm man embodies. He doesn't deny reality, he faces it with poise. He doesn't run from pain, he endures it with grace. And in doing so, he honors the highest Stoic virtue: reason over impulse, integrity over ego, peace over noise. The calm man doesn't need to dominate the space. He doesn't demand attention. He doesn't speak just to be heard. And yet when he enters a room, people notice. When he speaks, people listen. His presence has weight not because of force, but because of focus. This is the paradox of real power. The more you need to prove it, the less you actually have it. The calmer you are, the more power gathers around you. In many environments, offices, boardrooms, family homes, leadership is still associated with volume, with the person who talks most, interrupts the fastest, commands the room with intensity. But those who rely on volume are often compensating for a lack of control of themselves and of others. By contrast, calm people don't chase control. They earn respect, which is deeper. They offer presence, not pressure. And that presence influences others without needing to force them. When someone is calm-centered and non-reactive, they trigger a subconscious shift in those around them. Others begin to regulate themselves to match that state. This is known as emotional co-regulation, and it's a powerful form of influence. That's why in high-pressure situations, negotiations, conflicts, crises, people instinctively look to the calmest person for cues. They assume, often correctly, that this person is the one who sees clearly, who understands the full picture, who isn't acting out of panic. Calmness doesn't just quiet your own mind, it quiets the room. Influence through restraint. There's an old principle in communication. Speak only when your words improve the silence. The calm man lives this principle. He does not interrupt to assert dominance. He listens fully. He speaks only when he has something meaningful to add. And because of this restraint, his words carry more weight. People lean in not because he's demanding attention, but because his silence made them curious. The less you speak, the more your words matter. The less you push, the more others come toward you. This is not manipulation, it's alignment with human psychology. People trust those who stay composed under pressure. Why? Because it signals emotional reliability. A calm man doesn't swing between moods. He doesn't explode in anger or collapse in panic. This steadiness makes others feel safe, whether in personal relationships, business, or leadership. That sense of trust becomes influence. Not because you forced anyone to listen, but because they want to. In primal psychology, animals can sense fear, desperation, or nervous energy. Humans are no different. People are highly sensitive to emotional energy. A man who enters a room with frantic movement, quick speech, or overcompensation, he's often perceived as uncertain or insecure. But the man who walks in, slowly makes eye contact, listens, before speaking, that man emits power without aggression. He has nothing to prove, and that's what makes him compelling. In a meeting where tensions rise, the calm man doesn't jump into the argument, he waits, then reframes the discussion with one sentence. When others are scattered, he organizes not with orders, but with presence. This is not softness. This is command without control. It's rare, it's difficult, and it works. Be like the cliff against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it. Marcus Aurelius. The Stoics taught that you cannot control the behavior of others, but you can control the tone you bring into the room. That tone becomes your influence. Epictetus reminds us that we should never strive to change others through pressure, but through example. A calm man is that example. His presence reflects inner discipline. His words reflect thought. His actions reflect intentionality. And over time, the room bends not to his force, but to his firmness in peace. There is a kind of power that does not need to announce itself. It doesn't arrive with noise threats or grand displays. It doesn't dominate with speeches or gestures. It simply is. It radiates not from the mouth, but from the spine. Not from words, but from how someone carries themselves. This is quiet power, the kind that doesn't beg for recognition, but commands it naturally. Many people confuse volume with authority, but in reality, the louder someone feels they must be, the more fragile their sense of control often is. Consider someone who constantly needs to speak over others, assert dominance, or remind everyone of their status. Underneath the performance, there's usually a quiet fear. If I don't assert, I'll be ignored. If I don't intimidate, I'll be irrelevant. Real power doesn't operate from fear. It doesn't need validation. It exists independent of approval. The strongest forces move in silence. Nature offers perfect metaphors for this truth. The sun doesn't shout, yet everything grows toward it. The ocean does not explain its depth, yet it humbles all who enter. Gravity never announces its presence, but it governs the universe. The same applies to human power. Those who possess it don't spend time proving it. When your power depends on external things, status followers' position, it's always at risk. Someone stronger can take your place. One scandal, one rejection, one economic shift, and it's gone. But quiet power comes from the inside. It's built through emotional discipline, self-knowledge, integrity, silence that isn't empty but grounded. This kind of power can't be stolen. It doesn't panic when challenged. Loud power seeks attention. Quiet power attracts respect. People are drawn to those who are calm under pressure, measured in speech, and intentional in action. These qualities reflect maturity, awareness, and control, all elements of real leadership. You don't follow a calm leader because they force you to. You follow them because something in you trusts them. Their steadiness inspires your own. And over time, the influence of quiet power outlasts all theatrics. Think of a team facing a tough situation. Deadlines missed, tensions rising, blame flying in every direction. In the middle of that chaos, the loudest person is usually the least helpful. The one who spreads panic, assigns guilt, or fuels confusion. But there's always that one person who stays grounded, who asks the right questions, who doesn't rush but acts, who doesn't blame but leads. That's the person others look to, not because they shouted, but because they embodied clarity. Power is proven in restraint. The loud approach is reactive. The quiet approach is deliberate. Anyone can yell. Not everyone can stay composed. Wait, observe, and then act with precision. And the person who knows when not to act is more powerful than the one who always reacts. Quiet men move the world. Slowly but permanently, you may not see them trending. They're not chasing visibility. But in every stable family, there is a quiet protector. In every effective organization, a steady force behind the scenes. In every spiritual tradition, a wise figure who teaches by living, not by shouting. These men don't seek the spotlight because they are the light. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Marcus Aurelius. To the Stoics, power had nothing to do with performance and everything to do with practice. A quiet man who lives in alignment with his values, who controls his impulses, and who carries himself with dignity is more powerful than any emperor driven by ego. Seneca reminds us that the greatest victories are often invisible, the battles we win against our own mind. To understand others, you must first stop reacting to them. That's the hidden truth behind human perception. The more emotionally charged you are, the less accurately you see. Judgment becomes clouded. Motives are assumed. Intentions are misread. You don't see the person, you see a projection shaped by your mood. This is why calmness is such a rare form of intelligence. It clears the fog. It opens space for observation, not assumption. And in that space, clarity enters. Emotion blinds you to what's real. Have you ever been in an argument where you completely misunderstood what someone meant, only to realize later you were reacting to your own fear or frustration, not their actual words? When we're agitated, anxious, or angry, we stop seeing people as they are. Instead, we view them through a filter. He's judging me. She doesn't respect me. They're out to get me. Often none of that is true. But when you lack calmness, even a neutral expression can feel threatening. A silence feels like rejection. A slight delay in response feels like betrayal. Calmness removes that distortion. It returns you to the present. It allows you to listen beyond the words. It sharpens your perception like a lens finally coming into focus. Calm people don't rush to interpret others they observe. They notice tone, not just content. They watch posture, not just position. They register micro-expressions, pauses, patterns. This is not manipulation. It's attention. And attention is the highest form of understanding. When you're calm, you're not busy forming your next argument. You're watching, listening, letting the person unfold. And in doing so, you often see what's not being said. Calmness creates safety, so others reveal themselves. People open up in the presence of calm. Why? Because they feel they won't be attacked, rushed, or dismissed. They feel space. And when people feel space, they start to share more than just surface-level thoughts. They reveal hopes, doubts, fears, conflicts they haven't admitted even to themselves. This doesn't happen in noisy environments. It doesn't happen with people who are reactive or combative. It happens in stillness. Your calmness becomes a mirror reflecting others back to themselves. Without calmness, most of us do the latter. We assume, we project, we misinterpret, and that leads to conflict, resentment, broken trust. But when you're emotionally still, you become emotionally accurate. You see pain masked by anger. You recognize defensiveness as fear. You notice that someone isn't rude, they're overwhelmed. You don't excuse everything, but you understand it. And that understanding allows you to respond more wisely. True emotional intelligence isn't about being nice. It's about seeing clearly yourself and others. Calmness is the foundation of this clarity. Without it, you can't regulate yourself. And if you can't regulate yourself, you will always misread others because your perception is being distorted by internal chaos. In work, love, and leadership, calmness builds insight. The best therapists are calm. The best negotiators are calm. The best parents, partners, and leaders are all grounded in stillness. Not because they know everything, but because their calmness allows them to learn more in real time. They don't assume, they notice, they adjust. This isn't a trick, it's the natural outcome of presence. And presence is only possible when your mind isn't racing to control, defend, or win. If someone does wrong, the harm lies not in what they do, but in how you perceive and respond to it. Epictetus, the Stoics understood that all suffering begins with misperception. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, Do not be overheard complaining, not even to yourself. Why? Because complaints usually stem from distorted thinking, believing others are malicious, events are unfair, or the world is out to get us. But a calm mind can interrupt that spiral. It asks, is that really true? And more often than not, it finds peace in a more generous interpretation. In fact, the strongest people are often the ones you notice last. Not because they're weak, but because they have nothing to prove. Their strength doesn't need to be broadcast, it's already rooted inside them. This is one of the greatest misunderstandings about masculinity today, that a man must prove himself to be respected. But the moment you feel the need to prove you are strong is often the moment you are furthest from it. Why does someone feel the urge to show off their intelligence, wealth, or power? Usually it's because they doubt whether others see it or even whether they have it themselves. They overcompensate. This is true in the gym, the office, even in relationships. The man who constantly needs to remind others of what he's done, how tough he is, or how many people admire him is rarely at peace. Because the need to prove comes from a place of inner insecurity. The man who is truly strong doesn't waste energy convincing others. He's not afraid to be misunderstood. He lets his actions, character, and consistency speak for him. Strength is a state, not a performance. You don't have to flex strength every time you enter a room. In fact, trying to always be on is exhausting and unnecessary. A strong man can walk away from an argument he could easily win, admit when he's wrong without losing dignity, let others take the spotlight without shrinking in value, be kind without fearing it makes him look weak. Strength is being anchored enough to choose your response, not be dragged around by your ego. The fear of being seen as weak. Much of what drives performance-based masculinity is fear. The fear of being dismissed, challenged, or exposed. So men armor up. They posture. They attack before being attacked. They dominate to avoid vulnerability. But what if vulnerability isn't weakness at all? What if it's just a deeper layer of courage? When you no longer fear how others see you, you are free. When your identity isn't dependent on how strong you appear, you can finally be authentic. That is the beginning of real masculinity. One of the most dangerous cultural lies is that gentleness is weakness. But look closely at the strongest men across history, those remembered not for their noise, but for their impact. They led with clarity, not volume. They moved with integrity, not intimidation. They loved fiercely, protected wisely, and stood firmly without spectacle. A man who is both strong and gentle is unshakable because he's no longer controlled by the image he needs to maintain. He simply is who he is. And that's more than enough. The quiet confidence that speaks without words. You feel it in the way a man walks into a room, in how he treats people who can do nothing for him, in how he reacts when provoked and often doesn't react at all. Confidence doesn't need to interrupt. It doesn't need to one-up. It doesn't need to be the loudest voice in the room. The man who no longer needs to prove himself is the one others begin to follow, not because he demands it, but because people are drawn to truth, to calm, to presence. That man becomes a center of gravity, and others orbit him not because they're forced to, but because they trust what he is rooted in. That's leadership, not domination, not manipulation, but consistency, calmness, character. First, tell yourself what kind of person you want to be, then do what you have to do. Epictetus. Stoicism rejects the need for public performance. It teaches that virtue is its own reward. You don't have to be admired to be worthy. You don't have to be praised to be powerful. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, don't waste time wondering what a good man should be. Be one. Let others speak louder. Let them chase applause. You just be anchored. Do the right thing quietly. Let your peace, not your pride, define you. That is a power no one can take away. Healing is not something we can force. Calmness doesn't mean everything is perfect. It means you are creating the space for what hurts to be seen, heard, and slowly understood. Whether you are recovering from emotional pain, navigating a personal loss, or rebuilding broken trust, calmness is the first and most essential condition. When we're hurt, it's natural to react. We want to shout, defend, push back, or run away. But these reactions often deepen the wound. We stay stuck in the story. We replay the pain. We build walls instead of bridges. Healing requires the opposite. It requires the pause. The choice to stop fighting and to start listening, especially to yourself. Calmness interrupts the pattern. It slows the nervous system. It clears enough space to see that maybe, just maybe, you don't need to react. You need to feel. And that's where the pain starts to soften. Calmness creates safety for vulnerability. Healing happens when we feel safe, not judged, not rushed, not fixed, just safe. And calmness is what creates that safety. Think of the last time someone truly listened to you without interrupting, correcting, or rushing you to feel better. Their calm presence made it possible for you to be honest, to release the armor, to speak what hurt. That's the power of calmness. It says to the wounded part of you, you're allowed to be here. And once pain is acknowledged, it begins to move. Inner stillness makes room for truth. Most people try to heal by doing more reading, more advice, more distractions. But sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is sit in stillness. In calmness, the truth you've been avoiding surfaces, the grief you buried, the anger you masked as ambition, the fatigue behind your busyness. When you stop running, you start seeing. When you see clearly, you begin to accept. And in that quiet acceptance, healing begins not as a goal, but as a natural consequence of facing yourself with honesty. You don't need to be a therapist to be a healer. You just need to be calm. Calm people don't panic when others open up. They don't rush to offer solutions. They sit with you in the discomfort without trying to erase it. That presence alone is rare and deeply healing. It gives others the permission to feel without shame. It offers what most of us never had, a space where pain is welcomed, not silenced. When you embody calm, you become someone others trust with their truth. The body needs calm to repair. Healing isn't just emotional, it's biological. Your body heals best in calm states, not when it's in fight or flight, but in rest and restore. That's when the heart rate slows, the breath deepens, and your systems regenerate. Chronic stress delays healing. Anxious thoughts inflame the body, but calmness activates the very systems designed to repair you. Calmness isn't the end of healing, it's the beginning. Some think calmness is the result of healing, but in truth, it's the starting point. When you choose calm in the middle of pain, you're telling your nervous system, I'm safe now. I don't need to fight anymore. And in that signal, the body listens. The heart unlocks. The mind stops spiraling. You step out of survival mode and into integration. That's the quiet miracle of calmness. It doesn't fix everything, but it creates the space where everything can start to mend. A man should so live that his happiness depends as little as possible on external things. Epictetus. The Stoics believed healing doesn't come from others making things right. It comes from us making peace with what is. Marcus Aurelius didn't ask the world to stop being cruel. He trained his mind to remain calm within a cruel world. He knew that chaos outside means nothing if you don't invite it inside. So when life wounds you, don't demand the pain to leave. Sit with it and trust what stays is stronger. What passes was never you. There's a dangerous misunderstanding in modern masculinity that a real man keeps his emotions buried, that showing feeling is weakness, that calmness means being emotionally numb. But here's the truth. Suppression is not strength. Understanding is. And calm men aren't calm because they feel less. They're calm because they've learnt to feel clearly. Suppressing emotion isn't control, it's avoidance. Many men mistake emotional shutdown for maturity. They learn to smile through betrayal, stay silent when hurt, ignore their own anxiety, grief, or loneliness. They call it being strong. But inside, they're suffocating. Because emotion, when denied, doesn't disappear. It builds up in the body, in clenched jaws, tight shoulders, sleepless nights. And eventually it comes out sideways through anger, detachment, addiction, or burnout. Suppressing emotion doesn't make you stronger. It just makes your inner life invisible and dangerous. Calm men don't deny emotion. They recognize it fully, honestly, and without shame. They know when they're angry. They admit when they're afraid. They notice when sadness starts to creep in. But instead of reacting blindly, they pause. They investigate. They ask questions like, what is this emotion trying to tell me? Where did this begin? Is this mine? Or am I carrying someone else's pain? This is emotional fluency, not weakness, but wisdom. Most people are afraid of emotions because they were never taught how to sit with them. We grow up learning to perform or suppress, but not to process. But when you pause and observe your feelings like a scientist, something powerful happens. They lose their grip. You realize anger is often a mask for hurt. Anxiety is usually your body's way of asking for attention. Jealousy often reveals unmet needs, not just insecurity. Calmness gives you space between emotion and reaction. And in that space, you stop being ruled by your feelings and start learning from them. The goal isn't to feel less. It's to feel better, more clearly, more completely, and without fear. Think of emotional mastery like learning to drive a car. You don't remove the engine, you learn how to steer. The calm man doesn't let emotion hijack the vehicle, but he also doesn't pretend the engine isn't there. He respects the signal. He hears the warning light, and he adjusts course rather than ignoring it and crashing later. You can't heal what you refuse to feel. To become truly calm, you must be willing to feel uncomfortable truths. This means sitting with the guilt you buried, the shame you deny, the resentment you hide under politeness. It's not about indulging emotions endlessly. It's about listening to them once, so they don't need to scream later. And in that quiet listening, you become stronger because nothing inside you is hiding in the dark anymore. Emotional honesty creates real relationships. A man who knows how to feel is a man who knows how to connect. He doesn't shut down during conflict. He doesn't gaslight others when he's uncomfortable. He speaks with clarity. He hears others with depth. This is what makes relationships with calm men so healing. Their emotional intelligence creates a bridge, not a battlefield. They can disagree without disrespect. They can cry without collapsing. They can witness pain without trying to erase it. This is the kind of man people feel safe around because he's already made peace with himself. You may fetter my leg, but not even Zeus can get the better of my will. Epictetus. Stoicism does not teach emotional coldness. It teaches emotional clarity. The Stoics felt deeply, but they refused to be controlled by what they felt. They practiced awareness, not avoidance. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This applies to emotion too. Your fear, it's the way to courage. Your anger, a signal for your values. Your grief, a doorway to depth. Don't run from your feelings. Don't drown in them either. Stand in the center. Witness them. Let them teach you. And when they pass, you'll still be standing calmer, stronger, clearer than before. The calm man doesn't just benefit himself. He becomes a source of stability for everyone around him. In a chaotic world, calmness is not neutral. It's nourishing. When someone is calm, they create a silent message in the room. You're safe here. You don't need to perform. You can exhale. And in that moment, something deep inside others begins to soften. Before we process what someone says, we feel them. Our nervous systems are constantly scanning. Are we in danger? Is this person safe? Can I relax here, or do I need to protect myself? If someone's energy is aggressive, rushed, or unpredictable, even if their words are kind, our bodies stay guarded. But in the presence of someone calm, grounded, and composed, our whole system shifts. Calmness isn't just emotional, it's somatic. We feel it in the body and we trust it. Calmness is a silent form of permission. Many people are just waiting for someone to say, it's okay to slow down. It's okay to not have it all together. But instead of saying it with words, the calm man lives it. He doesn't interrupt. He doesn't pressure you to speak faster. He listens with his whole presence. He holds space not just with attention, but with patience. In doing so, he gives others the unspoken permission to be human. This kind of presence is rare and deeply healing. Arguments escalate not because people disagree, but because both sides feel threatened. The moment one person becomes reactive, the other tightens. Words sharpen, voices rise, defensiveness replaces understanding. But when one person stays calm, no raised voice, no blame, no panic, the entire dynamic can shift. A calm man in conflict does something radical. He slows down instead of speeding up. He clarifies instead of accusing. He responds rather than retaliates. That response doesn't just protect the conversation, it protects the relationship. People open up around calm energy. Vulnerability doesn't blossom in judgment. It blossoms in safety. That's why so many people find themselves crying in the presence of someone who just sits quietly and listens. They weren't planning to. They didn't expect it. But something about being around calm, non-reactive energy allows truth to rise. A calm man becomes a kind of emotional anchor, not because he gives advice, not because he has all the answers, but because he doesn't flinch, doesn't interrupt, doesn't shrink when things get heavy. He simply stays. And that, for many people, is more healing than any solution. One of the greatest gifts a father, teacher, or mentor can give is emotional steadiness. Children are always watching, not just what you say, but how you exist. If you yell when frustrated, they learn that anger equals power. If you shut down during difficulty, they learn that silence equals rejection. But if you breathe through tension, if you speak with clarity, if you hold boundaries without rage, they learn I can feel big emotions and still be okay. Your calm becomes the emotional blueprint for someone else's future. In love, calmness feels like safety. Many relationships fail not because of lack of love, but because of lack of emotional safety. When one partner is unpredictable, volatile, or emotionally unavailable, the other walks on eggshells. They never know what version of the person they'll meet. But when a man is calm, especially in emotionally charged moments, he creates a relationship where feelings can be shared without fear. Disagreements don't mean disaster. Love becomes something reliable, not conditional. This doesn't mean perfection, it means presence. And presence, more than anything, is what builds trust. Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Epictetus. To the Stoics, calmness wasn't just for the self, it was a way of serving others. Marcus Aurelius led not by charisma, but by consistency. He didn't demand loyalty, he earned trust through steadiness, humility, and restraint. In moments of chaos, he wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." And when that inner calm becomes visible, others feel it. You don't have to fix everyone. Just hold the light. Stay grounded. Stay gentle. Be the calm presence that reminds others. There's no need to panic. We're okay. We're still here. In moments of pressure, most people shrink. They panic. They rush. They choose what's fast over what's right. But there's one kind of person who stands out. The one who doesn't react, but responds. The one who pauses while others push. The one who sees clearly while others scramble. That person is calm. and that person usually makes the best decisions. The brain needs stillness to function clearly. When we're under pressure, the body enters fight or flight mode. Adrenaline spikes, heart races, the rational part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, starts to shut down. The mind narrows, focusing only on threat, not long-term consequence. In that state, you're more likely to say things you'll regret, make choices rooted in fear, prioritize short-term relief over long-term gain. Calmness reverses this. It slows the breath, regulates the nervous system, reactivates the thinking mind. And when your mind is calm, it can see options more clearly, weigh risks more wisely, act from principle, not panic. Some people mistake calmness for hesitation or indecision. But calmness isn't about doing nothing. It's about doing the right thing at the right time. Calm people often wait, not because they're afraid, but because they're listening, observing, calculating, preparing to act intentionally. And when they do act, their decisions carry weight because they weren't rushed. Pressure doesn't create wisdom, it reveals it. You see it in emergencies, the flustered team leader who starts shouting orders and makes a mistake, the parent who panics and confuses the child, the employee who makes a costly error by trying to look confident instead of staying composed. Now contrast that with the calm responder, clear-eyed, emotionally steady, able to direct attention where it matters most. That kind of clarity can be trained. And it starts with the habit of staying calm, even in small decisions, so that when big ones come, your mind already knows how to lead. Under pressure, most people stop listening. They assume, interrupt, rush to conclusions. But decision-making depends on accurate information, and that requires listening deeply. The calm person listens longer. They don't fill silence with noise. They hear what others miss, not just the facts, but the tone, the hesitations, the emotional subtext. This kind of listening is what makes a surgeon reliable under stress. It's what makes a negotiator win deals without shouting. It's what makes a father de-escalate instead of explode. When you listen well, you decide well, and listening begins with calm. Being calm under pressure builds trust. People naturally trust those who stay level-headed when things go wrong, because they know this person won't collapse, this person won't lash out, this person will think before they move. In workplaces, this trust leads to leadership. In families, it leads to respect. In friendships, it creates stability. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room, just the steadiest. Because when the pressure's high, people look not for brilliance, but for clarity. Calmness buys you time, and time is power. In a pressured situation, every second matters. Calm people know how to stretch time, not literally but psychologically. Even a 3-second pause, just long enough to stop the emotional reflex, can save a relationship, a deal, or a life. That's not slowness, that's power in disguise. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. Epictetus. To the Stoics, external pressure was not the problem. It was how we interpreted and responded to that pressure. Marcus Aurelius governed an empire during plagues, invasions, betrayals, and yet his journal remains a calm meditation on justice, virtue, and self-control. He reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." So when the world demands a quick answer, you pause. When fear knocks, you breathe. When emotions swirl, you stay still. From that stillness, decisions become not reactions, but acts of wisdom. Manipulation doesn't always look like control. Sometimes it looks like praise. Sometimes it sounds like guilt. Other times it hides behind urgency, fear, or flattery. But the one thing manipulation always needs: your emotional reaction. The moment someone else controls how you feel, they begin to control how you think. And the moment they control how you think, they influence how you act. That's why calmness is your best defense. Not more knowledge, not better arguments. Stillness, presence, self-command. Because when you're calm, you see clearly. And when you see clearly, you can't be controlled. Emotional reactivity is a manipulator's playground. Manipulators thrive on chaos. They know how to provoke guilt, trigger your anger, create urgency, stoke your insecurity. They want you overwhelmed because overwhelmed people don't think. They react. They say yes when they mean no. They doubt themselves. They lose sight of truth. Who benefits if I act without thinking? The calm mind isn't clouded by defensiveness. It becomes like a clear mirror reflecting the manipulator's strategy back to them. That doesn't just protect you, it disarms them. You can't be guilt-tripped when you're grounded. Guilt is one of the oldest manipulation tools in human history. After all I've done for you, if you really cared, you would. Don't you think you owe me this? When you're emotionally dependent on approval, guilt hits hard. You agree just to restore harmony even when your body says no. But a calm person doesn't collapse under guilt. They don't return fire. They don't justify endlessly. They say something simple: I understand, that's how you feel, but this is what's right for me. And because they say it without malice or drama, the conversation has nowhere to go but truth. Calmness protects your boundaries without aggression. You don't need to scream to say no. You don't need to explain yourself to set a limit. You don't need to justify rest space or solitude. Calmness gives your boundaries weight without hostility. And people feel it because there's no crack to exploit, no emotional charge to use against you. That is what makes a calm no more powerful than a defensive maybe. In a world of marketing tricks, emotional manipulation, and constant distraction, most people are highly programmable. You can't sell urgency to someone who breathes before they buy. You can't sell fear to someone who questions their own reactions. They are free not because they resist everything, but because they are conscious of everything. If a man gave away your body to some passerby, you'd be furious. Yet you hand over your mind to anyone who comes along and insults you and allow it to be disturbed at will. Epictetus. This is perhaps the clearest Stoic warning about manipulation. Your emotions are the doorway to your freedom or your imprisonment. When you give others a control over your reactions, you give them control over your life. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You always own the option of having no opinion. There is never a need to get worked up." That's not apathy, that's sovereignty. Some people are naturally quiet, others are loud. Some prefer solitude, others thrive in crowds. But calmness is not a personality trait. It's a discipline built, strengthened, and renewed through daily choices. We often say, he's just naturally calm. But that overlooks the truth. Most calm people weren't born that way. They became calm. They trained for it. And they keep training every day. Calmness is not the absence of emotion. It's mastery of attention. Everyone feels stress. Everyone gets triggered. The difference lies in what you do next. Calm people don't pretend to be unaffected. They simply notice without obeying. They observe the rising frustration. They catch the first wave of anxiety. Then they pause and choose how to respond. That pause isn't magic. It's a muscle. And like any muscle, it must be trained through repetition. No one stays calm by accident. You wouldn't expect physical fitness without regular movement. Likewise, you can't expect emotional steadiness without mental conditioning. The calm people you admire, they meditate, they journal, they breathe deeply before difficult conversations. They set boundaries around noise consumption and urgency. They don't stay calm because life is easy. They stay calm because they prepare for when it isn't. The habits that build calmness. Calmness is supported by simple but powerful practices. Here are a few. Breath work. Slowing the breath slows the mind. Even one conscious inhale before reacting can shift everything. daily reflection. Reviewing your day helps you understand what triggered you and why. This builds awareness and self-correction. Digital boundaries, constant notifications train your brain to be reactive. Time away from screens restores inner quiet. Delayed responses, practice. Waiting before replying to texts, emails, or comments. It weakens the reflex to react emotionally. Stoic journaling. Write out your thoughts in the morning or evening. Ask, what did I do well today? What disturbed my peace? What was in my control? These practices seem small, but over time they form a mental shield, a calm core that holds steady no matter what swirls outside. You don't have to get it right every time. Calmness is not perfection. You will lose your temper. You will feel overwhelmed. You will snap sometimes. That's not failure. That's feedback. Each misstep is an opportunity to study yourself. What triggered me? Was I tired, hungry, overstimulated? What would I do differently next time? Growth doesn't happen by avoiding failure. It happens by reflecting on it. Calmness is a lifelong practice. Because life never stops testing you, new challenges will come. New pressures will rise. Just when you think you've mastered calmness, life will surprise you with a new lesson. And that's the point. Calmness isn't a destination. It's a path, one you walk daily, one breath at a time. It's not about reaching a permanent state of peace. It's about returning to peace more quickly, more often, and with greater self-awareness. The reward of practice is presence. When you train your calmness, you begin to live more fully. You're no longer just surviving moments, you're meeting them with steadiness, with clarity, with full presence. You stop rushing, you start noticing, you listen more, you overreact less. And slowly, your entire life begins to change, not because the world is calmer, but because you are. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Seneca, the Stoics didn't believe in passive peace. They believed in active preparation, cultivating the mind daily so that when tested it would not collapse. Epictetus reminded his students to rehearse adversity in their minds, not to attract suffering, but to prepare their calm. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love." That's not the voice of a man born calm. That's the voice of a man who practiced his way into peace. So do the work, not to become someone else, but to become someone who doesn't abandon themselves when life gets loud. We often think of legacy as something material. We imagine money, reputation, accomplishments carved into stone. But long after your voice has gone silent, long after your name has faded from inboxes and headlines, what will remain in the people who knew you is how they felt in your presence. Did they feel judged? Did they feel rushed? Or did they feel, if only briefly, safe, grounded, calm? Calmness practiced daily becomes more than a state. It becomes the atmosphere you leave behind, your true legacy. People may forget what you did, but not how you made them feel. There are fathers who rarely said much, but their children grew up knowing when dad was near, everything felt steady. There are teachers who didn't shout, didn't punish, but whose calmness made the classroom feel like a sanctuary. There are friends who didn't offer advice or solutions, but who made you feel deeply seen simply by being still beside you. These people may not be remembered for ambition or achievement, but they are remembered for something greater: presence, peace, consistency. Calmness is emotional inheritance. Your calm becomes a blueprint for others. A calm man teaches his children not through lectures, but through breath. He shows them that it's okay to pause, to feel, to speak gently. And that message lives on, not just in words, but in how they treat others. Your calm becomes the tone of your family, the energy in your home, the story your loved ones tell about you long after you're gone. and that story becomes a quiet echo in someone else's life. Stillness in a noisy world is rare and remembered. Anyone can raise their voice. Anyone can argue, demand, interrupt. But the man who remains composed when insulted, the man who leads without boasting, the man who walks into a room and softens it not with charm, but with steadiness. That man is not just respected, he is remembered. In a world addicted to speed, his calmness is an act of rebellion. In a world driven by reaction, his restraint becomes wisdom. Calmness outlives the moment, you may not know it, but someone is watching how you respond when things go wrong, how you handle traffic, how you speak when you're tired, how you act when others are difficult. And without ever saying a word, you're teaching them something powerful, that calm is possible, that peace is not weakness, that there's another way to move through life with grace instead of force. The foundational gift you leave behind when you are gone. People will sort through your belongings. They'll remember your habits. They'll repeat your sayings. But the most lasting thing you'll leave behind is how you made them feel about themselves. Calm people don't just soothe others. They awaken a forgotten truth. I don't have to be chaotic to be alive. I can be still and still be strong. That message lives on. It ripples into generations. And though your body may rest, your calm continues to walk this world through others. Do not live as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. Marcus Aurelius. The Stoics did not see legacy in monuments. They saw it in moments. Marcus didn't write for glory. He wrote for clarity, for truth. And through those words written in silence, he continues to guide millions. You may never write a book. You may never build an empire, but you can choose today to build your legacy through calm. In how you sit with discomfort, in how you respond when provoked, in how you speak to those who can't offer you anything in return. That calm becomes your message. That message becomes your legacy, and that legacy becomes your quiet victory. At the beginning of this journey, we asked a simple but profound question. What if the strongest man isn't the loudest, but the calmest? Now, after 12 chapters, we know the answer. Strength isn't noise. It isn't force. It isn't performance. It's presence. It's stillness. It's self-mastery. Calmness is not a luxury. It's a responsibility. In a world addicted to urgency, a calm man slows down. In a world full of blame, a calm man reflects. In a world eager to fight, a calm man chooses peace, not passivity, but power in restraint. Because to be calm is to be in command of your breath, your words, your values. And when you're in command of yourself, nothing outside can truly control you. You don't need to be perfect, only present. You will lose your temper sometimes. You'll speak too quickly. You'll forget to breathe. But you can always return. Return to your breath. Return to your values. Return to the space between stimulus and response, the space where your true strength lives. That return is your practice. That practice is your path. And that path walked daily becomes your quiet victory. The calm man changes the world without shouting. He doesn't seek followers, but people follow him. He doesn't crave applause, but people remember him. He doesn't build empires, but he builds homes of trust, of warmth, of stillness. His strength isn't proven in battle, but in presence, in how he holds his ground when tested, in how he listens when others yell, in how he walks away from what no longer deserves his energy. This man may never trend, but he leaves a deeper mark on his family, his community, his own soul. If you seek tranquility, do less, or more accurately, do what's essential, which brings a double satisfaction to do less and do it well. Marcus Aurelius. You don't need more. You need fewer distractions, fewer reactions, fewer battles not worth fighting. What you need is calm. From that stillness comes vision. From that vision comes action. And from that action, done with care, not chaos, comes impact. This is the quiet revolution, and you are already part of it. So breathe. Step lightly. Speak only when it improves the silence. And remember, the strongest man in the room is the one who doesn't need to prove it.